ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji. Ravinder Singh from Columbus. When we consider the Mool Mantar, so-called, what I am going to do is really give you a sense of where my thought is at today when I look at this declarative statement at the very beginning of the Guru Granth. What am I thinking? What am I asking myself in my mind? I'll share that with you, and hopefully that can be the basis for at least, stirring a discussion. So one of the first things that strikes me now is that for the longest time, I have thought of it as the Mool Mantar. And then I wonder, I mean, why is it called the Mool Mantar? Is it a mantra at all in the traditional sense of it? If not, what is it? I also know that it's been called a preamble, and I've used that word myself in the past. And now I'm wondering, is it a preamble? If not, what is it? I've also used the term a creedal statement, for want of a, and I realize that these are all linguistic constraints, but is it really a creedal statement? And what comes across to me more than anything else is that these seem to be some very declarative assertions being made that don't brook any kind of doubt. So that's how I see it. But what is it? We will try and fathom as we get into the discussion. So that said, the the Mool Mantra, I'm going to continue to call it that just for the sake of our conversation, is read out as Ik Oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murt Ajuni Swabhang Gur Prasad. Now, again, when I read it in the manner that I've been accustomed to since I was a kid, I find that I'm reading certain words together automatically, robotically, even today. I mean, even though I question whether they should be read together. For instance, if we start right at the beginning with Ik Oankar, uh, and I don't necessarily have the answers, but certainly the questions is, first of all, is the Ik really one, as in a numeral one? Or is it signifying something else? And the question in my mind is, if it is the numeral one, then we have a bit of a problem, because then it becomes a relative term, because then it is relative to the other numerals. It's relative to 2 or 3. And is that the intent here? And yet, uh, I find that most, if not all, the translations, whether it's the English translations that are common these days, Sant Singh Khalsa, Manmohan Singh, I mean, they call it there is but one God. Whether you look at the Punjabi ones with Harbans Singh calling it Ik Akal Purkh, or Sahib Singh saying Akal Purkh Ik hai, or Manmohan Singh saying Waheguru Keval Ik hai. Nikki Guninder Kaur out in Maine, dear friend, but she also calls it, has. I don't know what she's translating it as these days. I know she's working on a translation. Christopher Shackle, Khushwant Singh, Talib, you name it. You have the idea of one God. And I'm beginning to question that, if that is indeed the right way to look at this or to perceive this. So I tend to feel that Ik Oankar is signifying something else. What it is, I'm not entirely sure, but my personal sense is that it is actually talking about some sort of a oneness that is unfathomable in itself, that is endless, a oneness, a unity. And Oankar is its manifestation. It's manifest. I mean, it is We know, for example, that Oankar refers to, traditionally sound. So I'm beginning to feel that this undifferentiated oneness is expressing itself or manifesting itself through sound and light, uh, which is which leads me to believe that this is the Shabad Guru that we talk about. So the absolute one is expressing itself as the Shabad Guru, sound and light. Um, and then Satnam, again, I wonder if these should be read together, and if not, separately. My inclination is that perhaps they should be read separately. Sat, of course, being true, but Nam really gets my attention because, and I've been thinking through this quite a bit, because if you think about Nam, what is Nam? I mean, since it's associated with name, I mean, a name is a signifier of something. In other words, when you name something, you're essentially capturing its attributes. And so there is an object or a thing associated with a name. But in this case, we are calling it Nam because because it doesn't at one level have attributes. It's Nirgun, and yet at another level, all names belong to it. It's Sargun. So I find this to be a really beautiful signifier for both sides, the unmanifest side of things and the manifest side of things. I tend to think that this has a strong link to language and speech, as does Shabad. Both sort of signify, to me at least, a continuum in language, which kind of at one end is cleaved to us as our speech and language, and then at the other end, it is metaphysical. So I read Nam, I tend to think of it as the text and texture of the universe. It is the inherent knowledge that is woven into the fabric of the universe. It's the knowledge of creation. And Karta, we come to Karta. I don't want to take too much time. Karta is how this knowledge manifests itself as, again, creator is the word that is being used for it. I wonder if creator is the right word, if it is not, whether it is more appropriate to call it a doer. Because karta, I mean, I was struck to find out that it comes from the word katar, which means to cut or to cleave, which means this is the capacity to cut through and to create something. So, and the word, it seems to have a negative connotation, but it is karta because this entity that we call Nam or the Absolute is all powerful. Therefore, it also has the power to negate itself. So when it creates Maya, it is essentially negating itself. That's how I'm beginning to see this. I'm just sharing it with you. And then Nirbhav, Nirvair, I know conventionally have been translated as without fear, without enmity. I again am moving away from that in my own mind. I'm more inclined to think that Nirbhav, for instance, to me is being harmonious, being in harmony. I also seem to think that bhav has been used as discipline or restraint in other contexts within Bani, even in Asa Diwar, like the sun, moon, and stars are in bhav. So I get the feeling that everything else moves according to a law or in Pao. But this Ikwankar that we are referring to is not subject to such restraint. Similarly, for Nirvair, um, it's more of a human tendency or a human quality to be in fear and doesn't really seem appropriate to apply to some sort of a universal being. So I therefore think of this again as an extension of that harmony, to be without contradictions, basically. So that's how I see Nirbhav Nirvair. Akal, again, should Akal Murat be read together? We all do that. I've always read them together, but now I wonder, is Akal Murat one word? I'm beginning to feel that it is perhaps not one word. It should perhaps be two words, and we'll find out. Um, so I think it simply means that the concept of time does not apply to this, for want of a better word, this entity. And Murat, again, is an attribute that we feel is an embodiment. So I tend to see this as saying that the entire creation is an embodiment of this timeless. Again, I use the word timeless, but I don't think I should. Um, so I am looking at, and then again, Gur Prasad. I've always read it together, and I'm wondering if I should. I think that it is saying that this entity is also the Gur, and it is also Prasad, meaning it is grace as well as the inherent or the universal or the primordial teacher. All of these attributes it has within that. Not to take too much of your time, but these are some of the things that are swirling in my head. I thought I would share them with you and see what you have to say on that. So I will start with Dilpreet. Just follow the usual routine.
Hanji Virji, thank you. So I cannot agree with you more. I think it is good that we come to Mool Mantar again. And then every time I look at this, it throws something new at me. So what I was, when you were talking, right? So what I was thinking in back of my mind, that in Guru Granth Sahib, whenever a new rag starts or a new bani starts, or whenever a bani from Pagat starts, so Mool Mantar, Guru Sahib has added the Mool Mantar in front of it. So sometimes I will think that why Guru Sahib has done that, or then the one explanation which I tend to agree is that this is defining or setting the boundaries. And then by adding a Mool Mantar in front of Japji or adding it in front of any other Pagat's Bani, I think Guru Sahib is enforcing that the whole discussion is not going outside of these boundaries. So, what those boundaries are, as you explained, that we are we believe in that the creator is in the creation. We don't believe that there is one creator, or and then the qualities of that creator are defined here. So it is setting the boundary that we are talking about whom and what are the qualities. So whenever we are interpreting or reading or a Pagat's Bani, even if some words are, we have to define the meaning of those words using this as a guideline. So the other interesting thing which happened was my Uber driver asked me that, okay, I have not seen anybody with a turban. Then I said, I am a Sikh. Then the next question was that, what do you guys believe? Do you believe in one God? So I told him that no, we don't believe. We think that the creator and creation are same, and the creator is in the creation. So then he said, oh, you guys are not a monotheism, right? Not a monotheist religion. I said, no, we are not. And you started with the definition, right? That I think it has been misinterpreted by all the translators, or they have not done justice or to Guru Nanak when they said that there is one creator, unique creator. We believe in that one creator or one God. I don't think so, as you explained, that he has gone beyond that. And then the whole Gurbani says that creator is in the creation, and Gurbani explains us to be the co-creator. So I think we need to stress on that part, and then because if we start with the concept of existing concept of God, which is defined by Christianity or any other thing, I think that we will take a wrong turn, and then we will never come back to the Guru Nanak's path. And then the big confusion, I think, as a group, as we are recording this in English, there is a big confusion in Sikhism about that where the Mool Mantar ends. Okay, so whether it ends at Guru Prasad or it ends at Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach, I think that somewhere what I believe is that Jap is the name of the Bani, and as we have started, so I believe in that the Mool Mantra ends at Guru Prasad. And then the last thing which I have is that when I look at this Mool Mantra again and again, what strikes me is that from Ik Onkar, Satnam, and Karta Purakh up to this point, I feel that Guru Sahib is defining that whom he is considering the creator, because he's defining, as you said, you explained Ik Onkar, Satnam, and then he's also saying that as that creator in the creation is responsible for all the creativity, that is Karta. And Purakh also, again, he is saying that it
Okay,
is.
Dilpreet, I've got to cut you off. You're running out of time.
Okay, so just to end this, that he is saying that he is Purak also, again, that creator is in the creation, and then the rest of the attributes are defining the characteristics. That's all I had.
Thank you very much. Interesting concept here. Ekunkarji, I want to come to you, but before I let you begin, Dilpreet has raised an interesting idea here that we are equating the creator with creation. I'm not entirely sure that I agree with him on this, but I'd like to hear your thoughts and the thoughts of others, because I think that Ik Onkar, just from what I said, it seems to me that that ik is one removed from us by Shabad Guru. That's when the whole process begins, that ik is really beyond our reckoning. So I just wonder what you think about that, and as well as what your own views are. Please, go ahead.
Well, thank you, G. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
And I can't really believe it was 6 years ago that we did this.
Yes, yes.
So in my, insecurity and my self, whatever, I have done a translation of Japji, and the way that I've translated Ek Onkar Satnam is this way. One spirit beyond moves within the creation, coordinating, consolidating, continually creating. And this spirit in me is my true identity. That's Ek Onkar Satnam. So from the beginning, when I was really blessed to work with Yogi Bhajan, the late Siri Singh Sahib, he worked with me on translating Japji the year before he left his physical body. And from the beginning, it was about not letting the Punjabi English dictionary be the realm of translation, because Gurbani is saying so many things that we actually don't hold conceptually in the English language. And Ek Onkar is where all that begins. Ek Onkar is a symbol. I mean, when Guru Nanak had his enlightenment experience, he came out with a whole new sign and symbol for divine consciousness that didn't exist anywhere and didn't ever exist before. So I believe that, and I have no evidence for this, it's my personal belief, I believe that when English speakers came and started interacting with the Punjabis, translating Ek Onkar as there is one God was kind of a place where they could culturally meet, because there is the notion of oneness in the Ek Onkar. But I also think it's a cultural fight, because you know, the Western philosophy, and it starts with the Greeks, is so much a dualistic idea that mind and that mind and matter, or spirit and matter, are two different things. And Guru Nanak, I really do believe that the base of Guru Nanak's enlightenment vision was that the one is in everything, and creative within everything, and we've got to wake up to the fact that that's who we really are. Like, we are a spark of divine light, not separate from the one light, and we are playing in creation. And so how Ik Onkar breaks down in terms of, you know, I do think that there's a formula in it that Ik is the oneness, the one consciousness, that Om is the sound or the vibration, and Kar is the manifestation. Like, I do think there's an actual formula for how the divine moves and creates in that term. But it is both within and beyond, and that's the essence of it, is that it's a playful, ever evolving, ever moving, ever renewing, ever expressing consciousness that still is one at its base. It's one and many at the same time. And that Sat Nam doesn't mean that his name or its name is truth, that the Nam is we, us. We're the Nam. I mean, we're the identity that's experiencing the Ik Onkar. And what's authentic in us, what's real and authentic in us, when we can find our own authenticity, that's where we are completely, you know, in a somatic connection with the oneness, with the Ik Onkar, so that's who I really am. You know, I am a momentary flash of expression of that one. And we've got lots of people, and I won't take more time going further into the Mool Mantra, but that is how I have experienced and learned about what Ik Onkar Sat Nam means.
Okay, thank you. Again, I wonder about whether the equation of the creator and the creation is a complete one-to-one symmetry. It seems to me that if you want to call it a creator, which I'm a little loath to do, it is, to me, there is an absolute principle that is removed from this process. That this process is basically a manifestation of its power. So the power is sort of emanating through Shabad Guru, you know, Oankar, Ekoankar. So I want to put this out there, see if somebody can kind of take that on and respond to it. That said, let me go to, let me see who I see here. Hanji, Gurdeep Singh Virji.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Hanji, Happy New Year, ji.
Okay. I heard what you said. I'm more convinced with you. Here we should take every word individually. Ekyung, Ek, that's the God. Onkar is the representation of the Maya. Ekyung created the Maya. The Uda, Om, representation of the Maya. And then each word should be individually read as Sat, then Nam. नाम में ही ते सब कुछ हुआ बिन सतगुरु नाम न जापे गुर का शब्द महारस मीठा बिन चाखे साध न जापे. So नाम is a separate word. सत 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 कर साधा. गुरपुरे जो बचन के मैं छींक गांठड़ी बाधा. Sat is a separate word. I agree mostly with you. Your explanation karta, creator, purkh. नारी ते जो पुरख करावे, पुरखन ते जो नारी, एको पुरख. Or Sagli Nar Sabai, individual word. Nirpaho, I'm more convinced with Vinder Viji for two said Nirpaho, and Nirvair, another word. Akal, only one word. Murit, one word. Ajuni, one word. Sahbang, self creation, self created. Gur Prasad. Gur and then Prasad. More or less, I go with you, what you explained here. Now about the second person who spoke, Dilpreet ji, I can answer for him is आपने आप साजियो आपने रचियो नाओ दुई कुदरत साज के कर आसन डिठो चाओ. Creator himself alone, he is within the creation, but when creation get finished, it get become back to number one, back to Ekyum. So that's the answer. Little bit I cannot convince him, but if you agree, दुई कुदरत साज के कर आसन डिठो चाओ. Uda Omkar, I as explained, is the Maya. And whole explanation after that in Guru Granth Sahib start from here. This is the Bij Mantar. Every word he has explained again. As he said, this is always given outline, the boundary of each Bhakti Bani and all that, which is true. I agree with him. And Dilpreet said very right there. And the rest is up to us how we practice and what we achieve, because whole everything, jo Brahmande, soi pinde, jo khoje so pawe. Rest depend upon us how much we do the lab work. First we have reading the theory only, but if we don't get into the lab, we have no proof whether theory works or not. So lab is within us, jo Brahmande, soi pinde, jo khoje so pawe. Then we have to repeat it, the repetition of Guru Guru Mantar, Bij Mantar. Then there's a Gur Mantar, there is a Maha Mantar. Maha Mantar Gurbani, Bij Mantar Ekyamkar, Sari Sisti, the creator of the whole world, of universe. And then Guru Mantar, when we have to go in front of the Gurus, and we take Guru Mantar and we repeat all these things, and we get illuminated, I hope, one day. Thank you very much. This is what I can say on it.
Anji, thank you, Virji. Thank you very much. Again, I'm harping on this point, but what I'm really trying to say is that there is something even before Eko in my, I mean, that's what I'm struggling with in my mind. It seems to me that Eko is a highly charged state of two polar opposites, one and many arising at the same time, but they arise out of what Bani calls a sun samad. Because if you read the Shabad on in Maru, I believe it is, the cosmology, Arbad Narbad Tandukara, I get the sense that out of that emerges a highly charged state with two polar opposites. They arise simultaneously. There is a oneness and there is the sort of sound, because God, for want of a better word, speaks creation into existence. Eko kabao. And even in other traditions, he speaks creation, which is why we call it Shabad. But so I would like somebody to kind of talk a little bit about more of, is my thinking on the right? I mean, I don't know if it is or not, but I seem to think that out of Sun Samad arises the state of Ekonkar, which is really a state of polar opposites. But let's go to Rana Virji. Rana Virji, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, ji. Can you hear me?
Hanji, Hanji.
You posed very good questions, and also you provided an excellent explanation of your thinking about this one. As you know that I learn by asking the questions myself and to others. The very first question which comes to me is, where in Guru Granth Sahib, maybe I'm not very literate, it is referred as the Mool Mantar, or we have started calling it Mool Mantar. Is any reference in Guru Granth Sahib where this section, this Ikyumkar to Guru Prasad, is called Mool Mantar? So that was my dilemma, that we are calling it Mool Mantar. So I'm not sure, I'll just leave it open there. And the one point you just raised now, that you think there is something before Ikyumkar. My feeling is whatever you have in mind, or whatever you think something before Ikyumkar, for what you said, Tandutara, what lines, I'm not very
Narbad
good at.
Narbad Tandukara,
Yeah.
because in that Shabad
Yes. Yeah. That
it refers to a state which is
state.
called Sun Samad. And then
Yes.
from that Sun Samad is emerging again a term that is used, which is Sahaj Samad. Okay, so there is some process. It is like Sun Samad is when nothing's happening, right? I mean, there is absolutely, it's like an ocean where there's no movement. And then Pana Hona and Hukam Hona. And then you have this, the creation, which is why I'm arguing with Dilpreet as well, that while the creator may be in the creation, the creator so-called also transcends that creation.
Yes, and my quick thinking is that very state of nothingness, from where everything started, is the creator. And yes, whether you call it that undifferentiated oneness, you said that undifferentiated oneness is well manifested or unmanifested. In that state of nothingness, that undifferentiated oneness which has not been manifested. And that is still, I call that the God, what you said. And this is my feeling. That is the starting point. This is what the Big Bang theory is, that everything came out of the nothingness. And nothingness to me in Gurbani is what we call, Guru Sahib is called creator. And then you use the word Naam as a knowledge of creation. The question comes, which knowledge, from where that knowledge came? Nothing is there. It's coming out of nothingness. We start talking about the knowledge here. The question comes in, from where that knowledge is coming right at the outset. I thought Naam is the word I've read many times is the creative potency of that is unmanifested and undifferentiated oneness which you're referring to. And Naam, that's where, as you said, there's a lot of confusion about the word Naam has come so many times, and I have difficulty understanding that. But then coming to the previous question, creation and creator, I think these are two separate things. That's my belief, because we have been using the words unmanifested, manifested, sargun and nirgun many times. If he is in the sargun state, which is a creation, then there's another state, which is again undifferentiated oneness. This nirgun state, I go back, and that's where the creator is. That unmanifested state is much bigger than the manifested state. Nothingness is much bigger than what we see in the cosmos. So I believe that creation and creator, they're two separate things. Creation is Karan Karaman Harswami. That is, the creator has created the creation. Then the word has been used, Shabad Guru. And I wonder, Shabad Guru and Guru Shabad, is the difference between that? And I think Shabad Guru is what you alluded to, is possibly the knowledge you're talking about.
No, I'm alluding, my allusion is to Onkar. I read that as Shabad Guru. I
I think
read that as, I could be, but that's my sense.
my understanding, what I a little bit is, Guru Sahib, the Shabad Guru is silent vibrations. That this is Anhad Nad. The word has been Shabad is not heard by these ears and all that. And I think that comes to once you transcend yourself certain level, you can hear. Guru Nanak Sahib could hear that the knowledge is coming through that Anhad, not silent vibrations which is coming, that doesn't come to me or to you. Possibly it comes to you, I don't know. But the Guru Sahib got that, and that's how got his knowledge. And he then put it in the Guru Shabad,
Haji.
the one we have.
Ji, ji.
And final point is, I think somebody made a comment that the creator is in everything. The question I have, when you say everything, is Katkat which hai or is in Kankan which hai. Katkat is normally to our hirda, in our heart, in our mind, and all that. And Kankan is every aspect of this existence. So I will leave at that point, and
Haji,
that's my understanding of
Haji,
this
ठीक
topic.
है जी. Haji, thank you. Anji Kulwant Kaur Bhen ji. She's not there. Okay. All right. I see that Gaurav Singh is with us. Happy New Year, Gaurav.
Okay, so you can
Oh.
listen me, right?
Oh, you're
Hello?
here now. Okay. All right. Yes.
All right. You know what I am thinking right now, that Jyoti Sarup Vaheguru, जिस दा वजूद असी इस वक्त, we are trying to, he is agam, he is a gocher, we are trying to catch him in words right now, which is beyond the words. All I can say is he is manifesting, like you said. He's manifesting itself like a scent in a flower. We can just feel him, महसूस कर सकते हैं ਅਸੀਂ उसਨੂੰ. And the other thing you were talking about right now, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ book ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਭਾਈ ਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ I'm trying to, it's in Punjabi, and like you said, you are trying to understand the number, that the ik onkar, if this is referring as number or anything else. He said that it's not, Guru Sahib used the number, but it's not as a number, it's as a noun. Unhone as a noun vartya hega, just to you explain his description, that he's the only one. Like, then they gave an example how Guru Nanak Sahib at other place said, ekam ekankar nirala amar ajoni jat na jala agam agochar roop na rekhya. So he's trying to say that this is used as a number, but it's not as number adjective, but it's as used as a noun. I don't know if that explains to you, makes things clear to you.
Clear as mud.
Excuse me?
But carry on.
Yes. So, yeah, I think that's all. I'm also lost right now, trying to understand, yes, trying to, make sense of words and things. I think it's hard. It's difficult.
Haji.
Yes.
But it's the spirit of inquiry that matters. It's not about,
yes.
we're not trying to find final answers here. I want to make that very clear. We are simply having a dialogue. We are not looking for final answers, whether it's from me or anybody else. We are just having a nice dialogue. Thank you very much, Benji.
Okay.
Hanji, Gaurav Singh.
Hanji, Guru Fateh ji.
Hanji, Guru Fateh ji.
So the mood or the essence of the Bani, that when I relate to it, what this signifies to me is it's an emphatic statement. It is not a matter of belief. And when I read it, the question is, who is it for? And what is it signifying? Is it talking about, is it a statement of description of the one that is beyond compare? And what about the one? And to me, when I read the one, it is essentially stating that there is nothing but the one. So my relation to all that I see occurs in duality. And all of my problems occur within duality. And in my effort to understand and relate with everything that is around me, how do I come to what is true? And it essentially starts with the emphatic truth of that all there is one. So this nirpa and nirvair to me are not descriptions of the one, because that is obvious. If there is only one, there is no enmity. There is nothing else to compare. This is really, again, it's not directed at cats and dogs. This is directed at the being, the humans, who are having to deal with the duality and with their own inauthentic sense of self. And how do I come to be whole and unified? And the process of one is in motion. And that is the truth that is evident, which is the Sat. And the being that is present within it is the Nam. And which I think, Ravindravirji, you had alluded to as well, is that these are aspects of, or you use the word attribute, I believe. But to me, this signifies the noumenal aspects as opposed to the phenomenal. Is that how I occur, this I am, and this how it occurs in this world is via the Nam. And that, of course, has manifestations in multifarious ways, some of which may be authentic, some may not, but over here it is referring to the unified one. Then there's the creative aspects, the process that is in play. The Sat, the Karta, refers to me as there's an aspect of creativity, which is evident from the symbol that we are referring to as Oankar. And others have posited that this is O Be'ant, but really there is no word, it's a symbol. And we could make of it what it is, but really what it is the manifestation of the one into more than one. And in which is the Jal, in which we find ourselves, Ape Machi Machli, Ape Pani Jal. And this is, to me, that really hits home, because it is a Jal of the bigger me, or the I, the ultimate I, the Alpha and Omega, within which I am caught and I am struggling. And the aspects of Vad and discipline from without. I deal a lot with my children, and I was a child myself. All these various disciplines from institutions that tell us what to believe and how to behave and so forth. But the authentic self expresses itself freely of all of those, the sovereign self. And I think that is where the paw comes in. And the concept of Vad is also out of that insecurity, and which is, again, intrinsic biologically, because of the non-dualistic aspect of how we live, is that the Vad exists because I feel threatened. And when I'm not threatened physically, I feel threatened symbolically and conceptually, which is why we find it difficult to tune ourselves to the larger truths, because we feel our ideas are attacked or whatever. The being that I am and how I manifest into this world is Sapang, Swapang, that I create this. And yeah, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. I don't want to take too much time, but
you have a couple of minutes.
Okay, so the Akal aspect, much of our time is spent in our inner sphere, in our inner space, living in the past or projecting into our future. But there really is only one aspect of time that Gurbani is truly concerned with, and that is the time that is no time, which is the present moment, which is always fleeting, can never be caught, and as soon as I have thought of it, is already past. And to me, what that signifies is that this one's authentic being is always in the moment, which is beside the baggage that I'm carrying of my memory and the past, or of my hopes and fears for the future. That I only get to manifest myself truly right now in this moment. And all that I bring, the knowledge and the wisdom or whatever it is, it's mostly dead words that I'm carrying from the past. And I'm not fully present to what is true right now, which is always the immense magnificence and beauty of the one that is all around. And I am that. And I am no different from that. And I am only different within my inner conception and in my relation with that one, which happens to be broken much of the time, where all my fears and all my patterns of behavior come in, which is what Juni to me refers to, is my cyclical patterns of behavior, which happen to be quite destructive, and they keep me in that cycle. And that my true self in the moment is always to be free of that. And that is where I always begin, unless I'm living in the past, which is in Kal, and I'm always essentially dying that death and emerging in those patterns.
Haji. Thank you, Gaurav. I've got to move on here. But before I do, I know that both Gaurav and Ekunkarji referred to Nam as being, which is I entirely agree with, but I just wanted to add to that. It is actually, I see Nam as a continuum. One end of it is being with a small b, the other end is being with a capital B. So I see this as a continuum between those two. There's a cleavage between those two. Gurjeet Singh Veer ji.
Can you hear me?
Hanji, Hanji.
Hanji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So I've just done some research on this word Satnam, which actually comes 52 times. In the Mool Mantar, which we say Mool Mantar, it comes together Satnam as one word, as a composite word, but then at 8 different spaces, spots, it comes as a Sat and Nam separated, like Sat, Nam, Prabh Ka Sukhdai. They have separated the words. Japaman, Satnam, Sada Satnam. All right. Totally, there are 3 different forms of it. In Sri Rag, we see Ikonkar Satnam Gur Prasad. Then in Bhagat Bani, especially in the Gaudi Rag, it comes about 6 times with the Ikonkar Satnam Kartapur Gur Prasad. Only once in Bhagat Bani in Rag Asa is a full Mool Mantar before the Bani. Otherwise, never before a Bhagat Bani there is a full Mool Mantar. It always starts with a Rag, but it is missing in front of Sri Rag. All right, let's start with the real aspect. So as far as my understanding, it is one which is defined, and one is nothing but Ekankar. The Ekankar is having 3 different forms. The Ekankar could be what I use the word as in trance. The second stage of Ekankar could be transcend or transcend, what they say. And the third is his eminent form. And this Mool Mantra defines basically everything of it. There are 2 sets of words here. 4 of them are chosen like Nirpa, Nirvaira, Kalmurta, Juni are describing the eminence in an indirect sense. That Nirpa means when he is in oneness, he's not Nirpa, but ultimately if it is not one, he's in eminent stage, I-M-M-A-N-E-N-C-E. I don't know whether my pronunciation is correct. But when it is in from Nirgun, as you were asking, from Nirgun it changes to Sargun, and there are enough references in the Bani, which I can mention 1 or 2 to you. They say, Jab Nirgun Prabh Sahaj Subhaye, Tab Shiv Shakti Kaho Kit Thai. So this is a stage when Omkar is not created, but Ekankar is still there. Ekankar is in a trance state. His Shiv Shakti is within him, but he is Nirgun. There are 2 different Nirguns. There is a Nirgun of Pavsagar and Nirgun of Suksagar, and we are ultimately confused what is what. This one, Jab Nirgun Prabh Sahaj Supai, is a Nirgun of Suksagar, that he has the gun, but he doesn't want to do anything. He's in a trance. Then from there, Sargun, Nirgun, Nirankar, Sun, Samadhi, Aap, that was his trance state. Then he became transcendent, and then the question is being asked, Apan kiya Nanaka, aap pe hi fir jaap. Now it is your duty as a Jeev to know which state of Ekankar I am. How come I broke my oneness? So this is our duty, and I can just put a bit of a thing that what we have to do with the one. Jinni ik pachaniya duja pau chuka hai. We have to recognize the one. There's no repetition going on here. It has to go through our wisdom. How do we analyze the one? How you pashan it? Gurmukhi naam pashaniye. That's why the Sat is giving a naam to it. Those three attributes, like Onkar is a composite word. I think we don't know that. Onkar's mool word is Om. Om Gurmukhi Kiyo Akara. So Onkar is a Sargun stage of Ekankar. Same way, Sat Nam. Sat has transferred itself to Nam. The Ekankar has become Oankar again because Nam is associated with Oankar. Then Karta, he was Karta, but there was no one to be fulfilled. When the Hukum started, all these eminent ones has to be fulfilled. So he has taken a form of Purk, in which he has got a capacity to give us the knowledge. So another word is Swayabhang. This word will be used only when we have to show his eminence, because how it comes into eminent stage, from that stage of Nirpo, Nirvara, Kal, Murat and Ajuni, how it falls back. That is the only word, very special word, not used anywhere else except this. There's a word Sambhav, which is opposite to this. In Swayabhang, you break. Two become two. In Sambhav, you unite to become one again. So that is a state from immanence to transcendent, and Swayabhang is a stage from transcendent to immanent. Then we have to realize that the one has been named by very different names. Jinni Ram Jannaya Tine Pachanya. Because before he was saying Jinni Ik Pachanya. This is all mostly in Sri Rag. Jinni Ik Pachanya. Who is that? Jinni Ram Jannaya. So firstly, before you go to him, the Janya word has to come in front. Janya is nothing but your jap. That janana about yourself is your jap tine pachanya, and what they can say. Jun gunge sakarman manaya. There is no further explanation. Whatever we are reading in words is Gurka Shabad. The Shabad Guru is beyond our capacity. So this one is purely Gurka Shabad. This is in my control. At a lot of places they are, as I say, at one place the Gur Prasad is together in one Mool Mantar out of the 33. At 32 places it is separated. But it's in my control. I can put them together.
30 more seconds.
So then there's another stage, Ekah. That Ekah stage of one will macro consciousnesses together is what Parbrahm stage is. So these are the three stages of him. When he has transcended, he can get together, become a part of a hukam. The hukam is operating through a king. Ekankar is a king, is a hakam. He's generating a hukam, and hukam is for whom? Hukam is for those people who are basically transcendent here. So he has explained everything within this, as per my understanding. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa.
Anji, thank you, Ji. We have a couple of minutes left. Interesting discussion. I'm going to do a quick round of any final thoughts, 30 seconds each. Let's start with you, Dilpreet.
Anji Virji. So
30 seconds.
in 30 seconds, right? So I think that sometime, right, we feel that there is some power, it has to be there, and our gurus are special, and then they have some special phone line. That is where I think every religion has a problem. They say it is a word of God, so no questioning. Even questioning is also is a sin. I think in Sikhism also we are moving towards that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I thought this whole session was about questioning, but thank you. Ekokarji?
Yeah, my 30 seconds are, my understanding of the Mool Mantra leads me to believe that the Mool Mantra is talking to us and our qualities when we are in our divine, authentic identity. That it's not just talking about some great big God consciousness out there in the seventh heavens, but it's about me. I'm the one who becomes fearless, becomes Vangelis can recognize my immortality, can recognize my own light, that's what the Mool Mantra is giving me, and what then the rest of the Guru is trying to help me wake up to.
Thank you, and thanks for joining us today. Hope we'll see more of you. Kulwant Kaur Bhenji.
Hanji, Virji.
30 seconds.
Yes, I also just think that, you know, this Mool Mantar is you know, my source of strength, of energy, which I draw from these words. Yes, that's
Thank
all
you,
I want to say.
Anji.
Yes.
Ranavir ji.
That's fine. No more comment, please.
Thank you, ji. Anji, Gurdeep Singh Vir ji.
एक है अनेक है अंत को फिर एक है
जी जी
जिमी जमार के समस्त एक जोत है न बाढ़ है न काट बाढ़ होत है. Thank you.
Thank you, ji. Anji, Gaurav.
There are two quick aspects that I wanted to go over. The first one is that Vijay had mentioned earlier about, since this is being recorded, that where the Mool ends. And I think it should be fairly clear, but nobody's expressly addressed it, so I will. Is that as we've talked about the multiple times it appears in Gurbani, it never goes past Prasad. And the variations always end there. There is a jump in the middle, and there is a numeral 1 after Hosipi, such. So that should really clear up anybody's confusion. And really, Gurbani is not really a matter of a lot of personal beliefs, which can be wild and crazy. We have to test it against, repeatedly, against whatever it is that we're putting forward.
Thank you, Gaurav. Gurjeet Singh Vir ji.
Virji, there's enough indication that it could be called Mool Mantra. Sat Saroop Hriday Jin Manya Karan Karavan Tin Mool Pachanya. So there is, that's what we are looking for, the oneness in us, our ekankar.
Thank you, ji. Thank you very much, all of you, for a wonderful session. Hope to see you next week. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.